The History Show with Maz Duncan.
Good evening. On this Remembrance Sunday,
there are 3 sets of brothers on the Greystones War Memorial.
Memorials to the dead of World War I. Is there a war memorial in your area? Text us at 51551. Stories behind the names on the Lansdowne Rugby Club Memorial unearthed. Also,
I have lost my daughter. We should miss her.
The day when a remembrance service in Enniskillen became a terrorist target. And
in Flanders Fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row.
How a flower became a symbol of the Great War. The story behind the poppy. And that's where we begin this evening. Amid the death and desolation of the battlefields of Flanders during World War I, incomprehensibly perhaps, delicate red flowers prospered. The poppies, which grew in abundance among the carpet of corpses, became an enduring symbol of death in service and the destruction of war, as Louise Denvir now reports.
Beside the town of Ypres, Alex Helmer was buried near a farm that became known as Essex Farm, a field hospital governed by Canadian Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. There was no chaplain at the burial. McCrae performed a small service for his brother in arms. It's May 3rd, 1915. Surrounding Alex's grave were beds of blood-red poppies.
In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row. That mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below.
Poppies thrived in the mud of the battlefield. Bright spots of red surrounded by acres of disturbed earthy rubble. McCrae wrote in Flanders Fields, and this poem is one of the reasons the poppy is so closely related to the Great War.
We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields.
McCrae died of meningitis in January 1918. In November of that year, Professor Moyna Michael took a break from her job in the New York YMCA. She read the poem in a magazine and described it as a spiritual experience.
Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die.
Particularly its last stanza.
We shall not sleep, though poppies grow, in Flanders Fields.
From that moment on, she wore a red poppy, and she campaigned for it to become a symbol of remembrance for the Great War. She penned a reply to the call in McCrae's last verse.
Oh, you who sleep in Flanders Fields, sleep sweet to rise anew. We caught the torch you threw, and holding high, we keep the faith with all who died.
In September 1920, the convention of the War Veterans Association, National American Legion, proclaimed the Flanders Fields Memorial Poppy America's national symbol of remembrance. The French YMCA was represented at the convention by Anna Guerin. She decided to sell the silk poppies to support French children who were orphaned by the war, and encouraged its symbolism in the Allied nations. And since then, artificial poppies have been worn on the chests of people in these countries to commemorate the victims of the war.